Like, oh, oh, oh,
I'm your daddy, I'm that nigga in the alley. I'm your doctor when you need. Want some coke, have some weed. You know me, I'm your friend, your main boy, thick and thin. I'm your pusher man. I'm your
like, oh, oh, oh. Like, oh, oh, oh.
I'm your doctor when you need. Want some coke, have some weed. You know me, I'm your friend, your main boy, thick and thin. I'm your pusher man.
Like, oh, oh, oh. Like, oh, oh, oh.
All right, so I want to be quick with this because this shit is really letting me know that we heading into a different type of world war. I hope my mic is working. It don't look like it. Hold on. Mic check. Mic check. I think my mic is working now, but I don't see the levels. That's what happens when you start unplugging shit and trying to push it back together. Mic check. Okay. All right. Yeah. So certain things disturb me on the geopolitical level. I look around and I see what's going on inside the world, and I realize when we're heading to war, when we're not heading to war. But this one thing that's starting to disturb me. China's not playing. So hold on. Let's play something real quick.
In the South China Sea, Philippines says the presence of these Chinese vessels violated its maritime rights. The boats. The Marine spokesman also said that Philippine military had conducted air and maritime patrols in the South China Sea to further validate this report. The spokesman also said that the military had submitted its findings to other government agencies and they would be used as basis for taking, quote, appropriate actions not limited to filling diplomatic protests, unquote. Authorities said the Philippines Coast Guard had reported about 220 vessels moored at the Whitsun Reef, which Manila calls the Julian Philippe Reef, on the 7th of March. Philippines believe the fleet belongs to fishing boats manned by maritime militia personnel. The vessel's presence in the area raises concerns about overfishing and the destruction of marine environment, as well as risks to safe navigation. An international tribunal invalidated China's claims to 90% of the South China Sea in 2016, but Beijing does not recognize the ruling. China has built artificial islands in the disputed waters in recent years, putting airstrips on some of them. Taiwan, Malaysia, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Brunei all dispute Chinese claims and all claim parts of the South China Sea.
Time check tayo time check 0700 over.
Ay sir, 0700 sir, approximately 30 minutes. Balik na kami.
Kuha din ng picture kayo na kasama kayo dyan over.
Ay sir.
Kuha ng picture ng kapsoy nyo sa boat. Kasama yung background yung background yung mga
The Philippine government expressed concern after spotting more than 200 Chinese fishing vessels it believed were crewed by militias at a reef claimed by both countries in the South China Sea, but it did not immediately lodge a protest. A government body overseeing the disputed region said late Saturday that about 220 Chinese vessels were seen moored at Whitsun Reef on March 7. It released pictures of the vessels lying side by side in one of the most hotly contested areas of the strategic waterway. The reef, which Manila calls Julian Felipe, is a boomerang-shaped and shallow coral region about 175 nautical miles, 324 kilometers, west of Bataraza town in the western Philippine province of Palawan. It's well within the country's exclusive economic zone, over which the Philippines enjoys the exclusive right to exploit or conserve any resources, the agency said in a statement. The large numbers of Chinese boats are a concern due to the possible overfishing and destruction of the marine environment, as well as risks to safety of navigation, it said, although it added that the vessels were not fishing when sighted. When asked if the Philippines would file a protest, Foreign Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. tweeted, "Only if the generals tell me." Chinese embassy officials did not immediately issue any comment. China, the Philippines and 4 other governments have been locked in a tense territorial standoff over the resource-rich and busy waterway for decades. Critics have repeatedly called out President Rodrigo Duterte, who has nurtured friendly ties with Beijing since taking office in 2016, for not standing up to China's aggressive behavior and deciding not to immediately seek Chinese compliance with an international arbitration ruling that invalidated Beijing's historic claims to virtually the entire sea. China has refused to recognize the 2016 ruling and continues to defy it. The arbitration body also ruled that China had breached its duty to respect the traditional fishing rights of Filipinos when Chinese forces blocked them from Scarborough Shoal off the northwestern Philippines in 2012. The Philippines, however, could also not deny Chinese fishermen access to Scarborough, according to the ruling. The decision did not specify any other traditional fishing areas within the Philippines' exclusive zone where fishermen from China and other countries could be allowed to fish. When Xi says, "I will fish," who can prevent him? Duterte said 2 years ago as he defended his non-confrontational approach, referring to Chinese President Xi Jinping. "If I send my Marines to drive away the Chinese fishermen, I guarantee you not one of them will come home alive," Duterte said then, adding that diplomatic talks with Beijing allowed the return of Filipinos to disputed fishing grounds where Chinese forces had previously shooed them away.